Hello, hello, it's Bernadette. And before we get into today's episode, I just want to share a bit about what we're going to be covering. So I've invited Liv Tonkin in today because she is a member of the Class Project Group. This is our project in Melbourne, and we have quite a few interior designers in that group. And I thought that I would make the most of it. And so I asked for a volunteer to take on planning the landscaping, for want of a better word, because it's just a terrace that we're landscaping. And Liv put her hand up, and I gave her a massive budget of $5,000. And I have to say, I did see her face drop when she took that on and thought, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? However, she has really come into her own and she's done an amazing job. Now, we won't be going to market for like another month or so I won't be able to show you photos yet, but you will see photos of the plan and some of the elements that we talk about in the episode. But I thought that this would be a really good way to, I guess, share how ways that you can manage your budget and get a great outcome on a tiny budget. So enjoy. And if you're listening to this in your podcast player, consider going over to YouTube and watching the videos so that you can see our beautiful faces and also see the images so that we add into the footage so that you can get a sense of what we're trying to achieve.
You're listening to the She Renovates podcast. You're listening to She Renovates, the podcast for women who want to renovate to create an income and a life they love.
Hello, everyone. It's Bernadette back with another episode of She Renovates. And today I have one of our renovators, Liv Tompkins, who is also a member of the current Melbourne Class Project. Now, Liv put her hand up to organise the landscaping. And so the apartment, one of the sort of advantages of the property that we bought is it has a very large terrace compared to other properties in the building. And so maximizing that opportunity is a big opportunity for us. And so in order to expedite the process, I thought it would be a good idea to delegate that to someone who has some skills and know-how in the area, and Liv very kindly put up her hand. So I've now seen her plan and I'm really, really happy with what she's come up with. And it's totally different to what I would have done. And that's what makes group projects so great. It's like a massive brains trust. So welcome, Liv.
Thank you. Hello.
How are you? Now, I should mention that I don't know whether this is too politically incorrect, but I'm going to say Liv is a podcast virgin. This is her maiden voice. So welcome.
This is my first. Thank you.
Yeah. And so before we get into the actual episode, can you just briefly tell us about who you are and what your background is and what really inspired you to join the Class Project?
Okay, so I do have, I am an interior designer. I do have a diploma in interior design, which I practice on and off in small renovation projects. The Class Project was a really good way for me to step into renovating for profit, renovating professionally. And this is something that I really want to move towards as a full-time job or career, I should say. And using all my previous project managing, interior design and renovating skills, this is exactly where I want to be. So this project was a really good taste test, and I can get to learn from all the professionals like yourself and see how it really unfolds in real life. And so far, so good.
Excellent. Well, that's good. So let's get into the project. So you were given quite a challenging brief. So make it look $1 million. And by the way, your budget's 5,000.
Yes.
Okay.
I know.
So how did you approach that, like creating like a terrace that really will hit the mark, but on such a small budget?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it is a big terrace, considering that the size of the apartment, it's actually quite a large space. I think where I started was I started asking questions with the strata, because strata has a big play in this. As you know, there's a lot of things you can and can't change. So the first question was literally, what can we change? What are we allowed to do? What do we need permission for? And then from there, just, yeah, create magic, really. It is a bit tricky because you can't change the colour of the brick. You can't change, you can probably change the flooring a little bit, but you're still quite restricted. Yeah, you just got to try and work with strata so they don't turn around and say, oh, you can't do that, and then your whole design falls apart. So that was the first point. And then from there, it flowed pretty well from there.
So in terms of strata, what are the limitations on this property?
The colour, as I said, with there's a balustrade across the front, and they're all the same throughout all the properties. And I want to say monument colour, I think it is. And then it's like it's not a yellow brick, it's a yellowy brown brick, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you'd call it cream brick, would you?
Cream brick, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a pretty typical cream brick.
1970s, yeah, typical 1970s. So, I mean, there was a few things that we have a pergola that's there that's a little bit rotted out, and there was talk about, well, do we keep it? Do we restore it? And that's something that the other terraces don't have. So there must be a little bit of movement there with strata. They're not that strict. But I think more the point is adding colour to it, because right now it's all the one colour, with the brick and the flooring being the same, and then that touch of monument coming through it. So yeah, it's where we started, was the concept for the whole building and working out who we're targeting. So that also plays part on what kind of furniture, what kind of style.
Yeah,
so yeah, definitely the concept, a good start.
Yeah, and it's important to note that the floor is Pebblecrete.
Yes.
Very dirty Pebblecrete.
Yes.
Okay, so I should let you know that I've spoken to Strata about the pergola, and they've requested photos. So Lucy's taking those today, and so hopefully we'll have an answer on that. Our preference would definitely be to remove it. Would you agree?
I'd agree. Yeah, I think that it doesn't add shade. I think it was more done as a feature, and I feel like it's had its day. And there's 3 poles that when they're removed, it gives you more flow throughout the floor space. I mean, it's not adding as much as we would like it to add, and we have to spend money on repairing it. So I feel like we can get a better result. If we wanted protection over that entrance area, we could put a retractable blind, when you're sitting out there on the table. I don't see, it's not necessary to keep.
I completely agree. Okay, so I know we've touched on this, but I think there's more to be said. So what are some of the biggest challenges you're facing with the design of the terrace, and how are you approaching them?
Yeah, okay. I think the other area where I feel is a tricky one was the entrance. I thought that, if we had more flexibility to move the entrance, that would give a better flow effect outside to inside, coming in from the staircase to into the terrace area. But again, we can't change that entrance, so it's something to work around. The other thing is the air conditioning. We have this big air conditioning condenser out the front of the window on the terrace, and we all know, they're not the best things to look at, and it is in the way a little bit. So we're looking at now how to move that or cover it if we leave it there, and yeah, things like that to work around. The other thing is that the front balustrade is very low. So then we have to get strata to add a whole extra barrier, which I don't know if they're going to do that or not. So working around that, we've come up with an idea of putting some paneling on the inside just to give that little bit of, I think it's about 150 mil extra height. So it's just a little safer. You don't feel like you're going to fall over the edge of the balustrade. What else do we have? Apart from the actual restrictions of concrete and brick, really, is the main thing. We looked at floor coverings, maybe putting down some fake grass, and then we sort of steered away from that because there's no actual drainage there, like underneath that pebble mix that you were saying. So yeah, we're ummed and I'm now thinking I do have there's two options, like just a couple little outdoor rugs, just to sort of create some nice little nooks of sitting and lounge areas. Yeah.
So if you're listening to this via audio, I suggest that you go over to YouTube because you'll be able to see what we're talking about. So we've got a palette that is pretty much cream brick with some monument balustrades. So it's not very inspiring. How have you, what have you done in your plan color-wise?
With the paneling across the front balustrade, I've kept it the monument. Well, it will be monument on the inside, again, just to please the strata rules. And then so on the opposite, I'm adding a whole wall of plants, like a plant wall. And that is literally going to be a big feature. It's such a soft effect having plants, I feel, and the colour, I mean, it's nature really, isn't it? So that's a massive pop of colour. We do have green tiles in the kitchen inside, and it's not a huge space, but it is a nice pop of green again. So again, the colour's coming through. And then some of the furniture will have some darker green through it, and I'll have like a charcoal and teak. So teak being the warm timber is going to highlight that area. There will be a lighter colour rug, which it's like a light grey, which will sort of, it's like a bony grey, which will actually give a nice softness to that pebble mix.
Yeah.
And also we have a grass rug if we need to still highlight that area. And then the other thing, I found some gorgeous pots, actually. I've been pot hunting. Again, trying to keep in the budget. It's pots are really expensive. But I did come across some gorgeous pots, and they're more of a rust colour, and they're good shape. I've got a couple of different sizes, all on price, which is fantastic. And we'll put some large plants and some smaller plants as a bit of a layering effect to give that instant appeal to the area. But yeah, adding some colour in little pops here and there. The dramatic wall of plants is really good focal point. So hopefully people would be focusing on that rather than that beige cream brick, the blandness of that. So yeah, it just gives it's with that brick, it's actually giving us a blank canvas, so to speak. So we can come in and add, whatever we like really, but I am trying to keep in the theme of the inside as well.
I really love that idea you had of the grass rugs, the circular grass rugs.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still planning to go with that?
Well, I've got two options. I'm just waiting on confirmation of one more piece of furniture, and that will then, I can then decide whether I go for the green grass rug or if I go for the outdoor. It's a really light, light grey beige colour. It might not sound appealing, but I think it would actually work really, really well and lift that area without giving too much brightness. Because the furniture will be charcoal and the dark green. I didn't want to add too much bright, too much contrast, I should say. But yeah, I've got a couple of options up my sleeve.
Can't wait to see them.
Yeah.
So basically what we've got is like the charcoal, the cream brick is the background, then the charcoal, then a dark green, both in the foliage and in some of the styling.
Yep.
And some brown or rust in the teak and the pots.
Yeah. So the table will be teak on top, and then it's going to have charcoal legs to tie in with the other furniture. And then the pots are like I'm saying it's a rusty colour. Yeah. I found, and then they're great because they're that fiberglass. They're really light. And you know how many stairs we have to get up, so it's a lot easier to maneuver around. So yeah, I'm going to take those out to the property and have a play around with it and see what options suit best.
So exciting.
And actually I came across a really cheap, really good, I should say cheap, affordable plant place as well, which is I think it's called Melbourne Indoor Plants, and they have a few scattered around. I think there's 4 around Melbourne. Oh, fantastic. Like
Amazing.
yeah, I thought the cheapest plant that I'd found was about $89, and now I've even found a cheaper one again, really healthy, really big, for $69 for those 1.8, yeah, bird of paradise. So the trick is to keep hunting. The
Yeah.
trick is to know what you're looking for. You might have some of your own suppliers, but there's always more. And just research. And if you find something that you really like and that's a good price point, make sure you document it, because you're going to use it the next project and the next project. Or someone's going to ask you a question and you're going to say, hey, I know this really great plant place. Yeah.
So in terms of the focal point, is there 1 or 2 focal points in the plan? Like, how are you managing people's attention as they walk into the space?
So I take it from 2 views. When you're looking outside, so if you're inside looking out, I think the focal point will be the paneling at the back. It's just a nice subtle backdrop, and it's quite symmetrical because it's little vertical lines across the whole balustrade area. And then if you're looking from the outside, looking towards the inside, then there's definitely that plant wall. That's good. That's the standout.
Yeah.
But you won't actually see that from the inside.
Yeah.
It's just nice to be able to, I like when I go into a space, I will turn around and you have to do the 360 to see what every angle looks like. And I think that every angle has been considered, from walking in the gate and then looking outside in and inside out. And also actually, because we're a big complex, you know how we walk around downstairs, you walk around the complex, I'm also considering what that view would look like.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you planning to use umbrellas?
I have an umbrella I've put aside. It's quite cute, very colourful. It's I didn't take a photo of it before I wrapped it up, so I'd have to go and unwrap it.
Oh no, don't do that.
Provide a photo, but it's really cute, and it's it's a Basil Bang umbrella, and it's just going to be gorgeous. Yeah,
amazing. And so I think I just want to double back on the back wall and really just clarify a few things for our listeners. So the reality of the back wall is that it doesn't meet the building code. And so it has timber railings across, but the top one is about 850, I think, off the floor of the terrace. So if we were to go to Strata and say, we need you to make that higher, or that needs to be higher, I'm sure that has been addressed in the past, because I can't believe that it wouldn't have been a discussion about it. It's not just ours that will need to be amended. It will be every terrace in the place, because they're all the same. Because our motive wasn't just to make it safer, although that's an important concern. It was also to block the line of sight, so there was some privacy. And so Liv and I went for a walk to have a look at the surrounding terraces, and found one that has got this scrubby old bamboo they've tried to do the same, but they've done it with bamboo that sits above the top plank. And so we came to the decision it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission, and so it's going up. And I think if there is any query about it, firstly we'll point out the precedent down the road, and then we'll draw attention to the fact that it doesn't comply.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. I think that it's really important to know that if you're making changes to things like that, you really do need to think through the implications. So for instance, if we were going to say tile over that pebblecrete, that can and probably would produce issues with waterproofing, like tiling over balconies is a notorious source of waterproofing issues. And also the fact that it then will worsen like ours doesn't comply already, it will make it worse. And so many renovators just think they'll do it and they can get away with it. But what they don't realize they're doing is creating a liability for themselves. And yeah, because if anything horrible happened, please God, it never does, that there, an investigation may not put you in a very good light and may have serious implications.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the
Oh,
product.
I love the product.
Painted. Yeah. So the other thing this is just a sample. It obviously has these are much more spaced apart, but it is actually a timber constitution. You can see, but it's really lightweight. And that every other product I found, and this is where it comes down to, say, with price point and budget. This is where you say, okay, if this feature is worth it, if this is worth putting this in your property to really lift a space, and to what it's going to transform on the inside view and the outside view, it's worth spending extra money on it. Some of the ones I've found are too heavy, they're plastic, they're not as nice looking. And this is like, you can't judge it from here, but it's really lightweight. And we didn't want to attach a whole structure to another structure, and it's heavy. And you think these balustrades are 1970s. Not that they're going to give way, but we just were quite mindful about what products. So I'd rather spend just a little bit more money on something like this than and find a better piece of furniture or a plant or something that's probably not as dramatic in the effects. So but yeah, this is again. I mean, I'm in Melbourne, so this is a nice local supplier I found. I did see them at one of the design shows, so I do actually know their work. And when these projects come up, you go, aha, I know that. I know exactly where to go. So again, it comes back to knowing your suppliers and what's around. But yeah, this is going to be pretty exciting to see what that looks like.
Absolutely. I can't wait. So, okay. So we've talked about material choices. Have we addressed that adequately?
Well, there's not a lot of materials as such. Again, when you ask the question, what's the standout? I think with having that paneling and the wall of plants, because they're such a big standout, everything else is styling.
Yeah.
We can't paint. We can't. Yeah, I can probably add. I'm looking at maybe adding a little wall feature. Just not wanting to overstyle it as well. I'm really trying to keep it simple so people don't have to have that eye clutter. We know they look around. What am I looking at? What am I looking at? We wouldn't want to really focus on nice, clean lines, and the furniture is amazing. The furniture is really going to set that space, and people are going to know when they go out there, they can either dine at the table or they can lounge in the chairs, or it's going to be styled well. And materials. There's only those two really that I can.
Yeah. And you have a secret weapon in terms of styling.
Okay.
Do you want to share about that?
What's my secret weapon? Is it
your supplier?
Oh, my supplier. Yeah. So, yes, I do work for a furniture company as well. And we also have obviously full price furniture, which is very on trend, very current, and always adding to the collection. They also have an outlet there, which they have some amazing furniture at really discounted prices. So I've managed to find some furniture at full price with a discount, obviously trade discount, and then some outlet furniture, which is coming in. That's helping the budget. That's helping the budget a lot. And I found a beautiful piece for inside as well, a nice console that's solid oak. You wouldn't get it for these prices if I didn't buy it out in the outlet. And then we've got some beautiful chairs as well. I've put aside again, like a bit more of a mid-century feel. It's again what you look out for. If you see something, grab it.
And can anyone buy from that outlet?
Anyone can buy from that outlet.
Okay. So do you want to share the name of the company and maybe the address?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's called Relax House, and it's in Cheltenham, Victoria. It's 234 Centre Dandenong Road, Cheltenham. There is another showroom next door as well, which is called Huset. That's a little bit more upmarket, that has more designer furniture, Muto, Firmob, Ton. They're quite a little bit pricey when it comes to the budget. So that's a bit more of a higher end project, that one. And then, but with Relax House, it's it's really good, on trend, very current furniture.
Amazing. And when we've got our photos, you will see the finished product, the result of Liv's hard work.
Thank you.
And yeah.
We also deliver Australia-wide as well, so you don't have to be in Melbourne.
Amazing.
Australia-wide, yeah. So for all you Sydney goers, you can get all.
I am definitely going to be doing some shopping for my terrace.
Yeah. The stuff is, I mean, I've been there for a while now, and I've watched it evolve, and they've really nailed it now. They've got inside, outside, beautiful ranges coming through. So,
and it's so hard to find. Like, what I can't get over is it's very well priced.
Yeah.
And it's so hard to find like on trend outdoor furniture that is well priced.
Yep.
So from our point of view, it's amazing.
And it's all commercial grade as well. So we do a lot of trade for a lot of businesses. So it's commercial grade on all the furniture. And yeah, I mean, it's not just suitable for domestic. They make sure it's good. It's very sturdy.
And so we'll also include the address and the details in the show notes. And if you go there, would you like people to make themselves known to you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'm only there part-time at the moment, but I am, everyone knows who I am there. So yeah. And I'm also, I'll chat to the owners and see what deals they can work out, because we don't always have sales on the full price furniture. And like the sales are great when they come around, and we do have some clearance products as well. I mean, I'm only mentioning the clearance products in the outlet because we want budget for our projects, right?
Yeah.
But the full price furniture is really good as well.
And the full price is really it's not over the top. It's very reasonable. So
very reasonable.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, so what are the key lessons and takeaways from this experience could other renovators and homeowners apply to their landscaping projects?
I think, well, this particular project, because it was a terrace, we didn't have to deal with a lot of live plants, as in grass and things like that. So it was quite a different project, this one. Again, I come back to the suppliers. I think that you need to know your suppliers and what you can get and where you can get them from. And that also comes down to shopping online. I don't mean that you have to have all these suppliers in your pocket, but even just shopping online, when you know where to go, it helps the whole experience. So I just think that find some great places and then document them. So next time you do a project, it makes it much easier.
Absolutely.
Biggest thing for me, yeah. And again, also coming back to that concept, if you don't have a concept to start, and if you don't have a direction of where the project's going, I think that you need that, so then you can reference to it all throughout the project. So if you do get off track a little bit, you can always come back to your original concept and get you back on track and stay in your lane and say, this is where I'm heading, and now I know where to shop and what to shop for. So that's probably my most, I guess, key takeaway from all projects.
Yeah. And it's a bit like the mood board.
Yes.
Like it's sort of the guiding light to your project. And it keeps things together and cohesive.
Well, I think it just, all your decisions, they're so much easier when you know what direction you're heading in.
Absolutely. And I have to say, I am very grateful that you've taken this on, because being a Melburnian, you're far more savvy about what's available to you, and being passionate, you've just done such a good job and really sort of taken it on with gusto. So thank you.
Thank you. The opportunity is fantastic. So I thank you.
Oh, well, amazing. One thing we should mention is how we're managing the labour. So a lot of the work will be happening through a couple of working bees. Yeah,
that's correct. Yeah.
Yes.
So we are going to we'll clean all the brickwork and all the flooring, mainly the flooring, and then once we've let it set for a few days to dry, just to make sure that we're not going to seal over any moisture, we'll come back then, and then it's quite an easy application with a rolling brush, a paint roller. And you just apply a clear sealer over the pebble mix, or the aggregate, whatever you describe it as, and that will actually just give it a nicer finish. It'll dry as a matte finish, and it'll hold that fresh, clean look longer. And then that's the first working bee. But I think after that, it's more of we'd like to get the carpenter to install that paneling. And I'd also like the carpenter to install a couple of fixings into the brickwork where we're going to hang that plant wall, just because we need a hammer drill, and I don't know.
We'll have a couple of carpenters at the working bee.
Oh, do we?
Well, we'll have Stephen.
Oh, fantastic. So I can bring the equipment, I can bring the hammer drill and so
great.
forth.
Yeah, that would be good. Save us taking that on the plane.
Oh, yeah. And so I can bring, I mean, we've got all the tools here, so I can bring whatever tools we need.
Yeah.
Just to need somebody who can use them.
I was thinking that we probably should paint that as well. So paint those panels.
Yes, we are. So I'm bringing the paints.
At least paint the back of it before it gets installed, and then we can do the rest later on.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think that should be painted before it goes on.
Yeah.
So we'll get the paintbrushes. I'll have all the equipment there ready to go. So it probably should only take, I think it's only the one day, really. The rest
I don't think it'll even take a day. I think we've got a couple of guys coming. So, and there's not that much to do. I was thinking that we probably need to paint inside, not outside, so they can be gurneying outside while that's happening. And yeah.
Perfect. Because the flooring's up now and the place is all gutted, so it's a good time to do the inside. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Okay. Well, listen, thanks for coming and talking about the plan. And I hope this has inspired others to to get out, and even if it's your own garden, have a play with the landscaping, and you'll be amazed at what you can do. Like, obviously, once you start doing hard landscaping like paving and then retaining walls, it can get up in price, but it's amazing what you can do simply with styling. And I think that's sort of the message here, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Liv. And we will include the details of Relax House in the show notes. And if you'd like to go over and catch up with Liv, please do.
Yay. Love to see you all.